Hi, my name is Beth Malicki. This is my friend Becky Phelps. We both work at KCRG-TV9, and in the newsroom, we're sort of catty corner to each other. We talk a lot about news.
A lot, the entire day. And there's a lot that goes into what we end up actually putting on the air. So we wanted to share with you a little bit of the process, how we go about putting our newscast together, and give you some extra context on some of the stories that have been a pretty big deal throughout the week.
So this is new for us, so be patient, but the vibe is we're a little bit more casual, a little bit more relaxed in how we're going to communicate and really just sort of have a conversation with each other. And also, if you haven't watched the news this week very much, totally okay.
Yes.
We're going to get you caught up on just a few of the biggest stories that we can't stop thinking about and talking about. And maybe that's why the weekend is built in to give us a bit of a break.
Absolutely, yes. Everyone needs a little bit of a break.
Absolutely. So let's start with what we are calling the revenge murder. There's been a trial going on all this week in Johnson County. And on its face, it hasn't seemed that interesting, just because trials can seem so, not bureaucratic, but just so, and then you talk, and then you talk, and then go and chat with the judge for a minute. This story is bananas, the way the prosecution is setting it up. So let me start with who are the players. Renard Winfield Jr., he is 30 years old, and he is not from Iowa. He's from Gary, Indiana.
Okay.
But he was in Iowa in 2020, according to the prosecutors. And we did briefly cover this, but we never knew the players involved because there was not an arrest. So anyway, let's go back to 2020. End of June, hot as can be in Iowa. All we know is this. Somebody got shot and got hurt in Iowa City. And we didn't dig too much into it because there had been quite a few shots fired and shootings that summer in Iowa City. You'll remember 2020, what was going on around the world?
COVID-19.
And we all know that many aspects of crime
absolutely rose during that time.
Yes. Yeah. So the way we framed it in our coverage was we put up a map and just said, yeah, this shooting happened. Someone was hurt. Yes. We didn't know if it was a guy or a gal. And it's one of many in the region. Then we showed other shootings that we knew about in Iowa City.
And like you said, an arrest never happened. So really no initial follow-up from that shooting.
Until fast forward this week, when we learn that the guy on trial for first-degree murder was the victim in that shooting. And who shot him, according to the prosecutor? The man who is dead. That's what they're alleging, that this was a revenge case. I have to read the headline from the Gazette, that Trish Mahaffey's story. Prosecutor says 2021 murder is about revenge, quote, a dish best served cold.
Because this is years apart.
One year. But
yes.
But still.
A very long time.
So how did he go about planning this murder, according to the prosecutor? Well, Renard Winfield Jr., again of Gary, Indiana, had been shot. No arrest. He wouldn't cooperate with the police, according to the prosecutor. So he's on a dating website, the apps, as the kids call them. You're more of a kid than I am in this world.
A little bit. I'm vaguely familiar. Yeah, so he's on them.
Have you heard of an app called Plenty of Fish?
I've seen ads for it.
Okay.
Yes.
So I've never been on the apps. I was married before the apps were a thing. But I have family members who've used Plenty of Fish. And according to my family members, not a reliable source, they claim it's easier to get on. There are less hoops to jump through. It's either cheaper or free to engage.
Interesting.
So why would my family members be on this one? You got to ask them. I don't judge. We just see whatever.
And is that that's part of the profile is like maybe that's an open conversation? Maybe.
It just seems like a different type of platform.
Okay. People looking for different things.
Absolutely. No problem. Not that everyone on there is looking for that kind of thing, but whatevs. When I hear Plenty of Fish, my husband and I dissolve in giggles because the only people we know have ever used it is my family members. So anyway, so he's on Plenty of Fish and he sees the guy he says shot him and creates a fake profile as a lady and starts catfishing the guy who shot him over the summer in Iowa City.
So this is where prosecutors say the revenge is a dish best served cold started. This is where the plotting started.
Boy, does it get thick. So the dude who died, this victim is Tommy Curry. He died at the age of 31 in an Iowa City parking lot in front of an apartment complex where he was not living.
Okay.
Prosecutors say the shooter lured him to this random apartment complex on Meadowlark apartment complex on Lakeside Drive, and neighbors say they heard 10 to 15 gunshots.
It's a lot.
He was still behind the seat of the driver's seat when he was shot multiple times. The medical examiner did an autopsy and determined, yes, he definitely died from injuries sustained from multiple gunshot wounds. They have been sharing in trial this week just a ton of evidence from the bullets where they say he bought them at a local Shields. The so much phone interaction through Plenty of Fish, the app. And what we are waiting for next week, we have not heard from the defense.
Okay.
What we do know from opening statements is the defense is trying to sow seeds of doubt that maybe this is a case of mistaken identity. Maybe it wasn't this gentleman from Gary, Indiana. Maybe it was somebody else, just trying to obviously inject reasonable doubt. So we will stay on this story, but I have never seen a case of this nature in my 26 years of covering news where prosecutors are teeing it up to make it sound like a wild revenge case, one you're more likely to hear on, say, a true crime podcast.
So how he got to the parking lot, they're saying that he was lured there through the app.
For a meetup.
With
the lady, thought he was talking to a lady.
Wow.
All according to the prosecution. So we'll stay tuned. You covered a story this week about a long-time food bank or what is it?
Food pantry.
Food pantry. I was getting, a closet, a food refrigerator.
There's many different names for them.
And it's opening back up. This is a big deal.
Yes, yeah. So HACAP is behind the reopening, but it was the Olivet Neighborhood Mission announced over the summer that after nearly 50 years of operating in Cedar Rapids, they were going to have to close their doors. The church across the street owned them, and they said that the need was actually too great. They couldn't handle how much need there was.
Mm-hmm.
They announced they're closing the doors, and HACAP said, hold on a second, maybe we can help.
Awesome.
And they were already operating in that building, in a daycare in that building. So they said they knew firsthand how big the need was. And they kind of looking over their options, they knew, well, if the building closes, we're going to have to move our daycare because there's such a big need for that.
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing how much foot traffic there is. People in this neighborhood are used to this pantry. They rely on this pantry. If it moves, we don't know what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So they stepped in July and announced that they were going to purchase the building and keep the food pantry open. And there were some other resources that used to be available there, like a clothing space, where people get those. And that's not available anymore. It's primarily the food pantry and the daycare. But HACAP is setting up appointments for the pantry, and part of that time is opening people up to HACAP's other resources.
Because HACAP, I don't know if it's like a sleeper cell of amazingness.
Yes.
That nonprofit does so much.
Yes, everywhere. They have a reach like in every single food pantry almost in the area. They are really, really involved.
Every time we do a story about energy assistance, the LIHEAP program is through HACAP. They obviously run the Head Start programs, which are for those families who are on the way lower end of the poverty spectrum to provide childcare.
Yeah, those daycare programs save people $10,000 a year.
Easy.
Yeah.
Okay, but when you were showing us the video, and did you shoot it that day or did you have a photog?
Today?
Yeah.
Today, yes, I did shoot that. Yeah.
It looks like a very nice grocery store.
And that was part of the idea is they did like kind of renovate a little bit, the look of it. And they did get feedback from people that just the visual of it was so much nicer, and it felt kind of nicer to be going through the pantry.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
So yeah, they did do some work to change the style of it a little bit.
And I noticed they not just have fresh produce, they obviously have canned goods, but they also have pre-made frozen food.
Yes, they have like soups in bags that people can come get. So there's a lot of work being done so that this is available.
And right there in the Northwest neighborhood, kind of by the Salvation Army?
Yes, it's like down First and then on 10th. Okay. If you go on off of 10th, it's right like a block or two down there.
That's awesome. And help us understand, you're a reporter. you go out every day and see things. I largely stay in the building. I do go out and do reporting, but not as frequently as you do. How did you come to learn of this story? Where did it come from?
Yeah, so we heard initially over the summer from viewers, I believe, that the mission was going to be closing down in the first place. Right. People reached out, they were concerned because that's an important resource and they didn't know what was going to happen to it. Yeah. So since that initial, couple emails that we got over the summer, we just keep following up. We reach out to HACAP-C, what are you thinking? What are you doing with the daycare? They say, well, let us get back to you. Yeah, we're working on it. They come out with that announcement in July, and then I just keep up with HACAP on Facebook. So a few weeks ago, they were saying, hey, we're going to have some renovations almost done. We're getting ready. And in the meantime, they've been doing this kind of mobile food pantry. Mm-hmm. Again, that food resource in the area is so important. They couldn't stand to just not have anything. Absolutely. In the meantime. But they said, we're almost done with this mobile thing. We're going to be open in a few weeks. So then I reach out and I say, can we come take a look? See what you've done.
That neighborhood, it was flooded in 2008 by the horrific historic floods. And it has so much history to it, but it also has a lot of people who are struggling to make it to the next month. I'm happy to serve as an advisory board member for the Mental Health Access Center, which is also not far from there. It's kind of down the hill from Roosevelt Middle School. And we were talking in one of our meetings about how that food pantry, if it goes away, that will really, really be difficult for the folks we see walking in our doors. And we do miss the clothing closet. So that's okay. No shade on HACAP. They're doing the best that they can. But it just highlighted that we need to figure out a way to make sure folks, because a lot of the people we serve, not everybody by any means, but at the Access Center are homeless. It's really cold outside right now. Yeah. To make sure that we have supplies on hand to support people who are coming in.
And every single resource is that important. Mm-hmm. It is impacting everyone around them and all the other resources. I heard from some staff today that, they have a lot of clients that it's just day by day.
Not even month to month.
They're just trying to get day by day through it.
I mean, that's a reality, but it's obviously very stressful.
Yeah. So in just the first week that this food pantry has been back open, they've served over 140 appointments. Wow. And anytime, they don't have an appointment, they take walk-ins. So they are busy, busy, busy.
So a lot of folks will be obviously holiday shopping this weekend. And Cedar Rapids has come out. I believe it's the Metro Economic Alliance. An element of what they do is that downtown district, SMID, which is a whole long story. We don't want to go into death. But anyway.
Acronyms.
Yes, they are starting this effort. Have you heard about the trolley?
I have heard about the trolley.
What does it look like?
I've heard it looks like a shuttle more. And I'm really excited to see it.
I am too. And it's an interesting idea. It's only in the evenings, only on Fridays and Saturdays, but it's free.
Like 5 to 11?
Yes. I wrote it down somewhere. Yes, 5 to 11. Perfect. And it takes you from downtown to the Nubo neighborhood, Kingston Village, and Czech Village. So you can just load up and not worry about parking, figuring out how to get in and out. Maybe you meet somewhere for dinner and then you go somewhere else to go shopping. It's an interesting idea. I don't know if it'll be successful. It's just a pilot.
Parking, I think, is huge downtown, especially on Fridays and Saturdays. The side streets downtown get absolutely filled up, between local bars and restaurants and events on Fridays and Saturdays.
Oh, if there's
it can be
TCR,
hard. Yes.
And at, I know it's not the Five Seasons Center, the Alliant Energy Powerhouse. I have to laugh because when I first moved here 20 years ago, Friday, Saturday nights were dead downtown.
So this is,
You've lived here longer than that.
Yeah. I've lived here almost my whole life, early elementary school, and my dad used to work downtown, so we've been around here a lot. And I remember moving back here after college, and it was during the pandemic at that time, so it was understandably dead. But it's been great to see it pick back up.
It is very vibrant. I mean, when you have a lot of activity and a lot of people, you are going to have the occasional incident where somebody is being a bad actor, right? And we have seen some of that.
Yes.
But it's in my perspective, it has not outweighed the commerce that is happening, the vibrancy that is happening, and supporting our cultural entities that are downtown. And Cedar Rapids is obviously.
Yeah, and a lot of those neighborhoods say they still need more. They want more traffic. They want more people walking in the door. So I'm sure the idea with the trolley is to get that traffic going.
Exactly. So the trolley is, again, a pilot project. It's going until the end of January.
Okay.
And then if they love it, if it got a lot of positive feedback, these free shuttle rides, then they say they're going to continue it. Well, that, I think, does it for us today.
That'll do it, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching or listening, however you're getting us. We appreciate being your trusted local news source, but we also recognize that appointment TV is not for everybody. You can't always get home at 4, 5, 6, 10.
And it's hard to get everything that we'd like to talk about into a newscast.
It's impossible.
So hopefully this can be another way for us to just communicate more news.
Yeah, Beth Malicki, Becky Phelps. Let us know what you think. Have a good one.